Hey everybody, it's Tafony here once again. Hope you're doing well. Today we were rambling about the noise Engineering Manis Iteritas Alia. It is a 10 HP full synthesizer voice for your rack, and it sounds like this. Okay, Manis, forgive me if this is going to be another Swoon Fest episode, but we really love the Manis, especially in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord already, definitely sign up. It's free. Join. I'll put some links in the description, as I always do. But I think this is my favorite of all the firmwares. At least I've grown to appreciate the BIA a lot more after spending some more time with it. But Manis is still just like holds a special place in the aggressive sounds that are my heart, I guess. Let's bring it in. So to start this off, I'm going to drone it out just to show you. Manis is sort of like the BIA, but it is sawtooths. So it's more aggressive. I think that kind of puts it into a place where it's not as versatile, but it just like is even crazier. And I really appreciate that. The first song I ever released was just all Manis played manually with a keyboard. And anyway, like I said with the Discord, everyone loving it. This is one of my favorite voices. This is one of those reasons to be in your rack territories for me. Anyway, I'm rambling about this is what the show is. We're going to start by opening this up all the way. There's a lot of things that go into the envelopes that are created, but we're going to start droning it, basically pretending it's an oscillator. Low pass filter is all the way open. Saw mod isn't open at all. Smash is down. Profundity is down. The bash is at noon. So we're basically doing like an init patch, and I wanted to start there to show you these macro controls first. This is bass, alto, treble, which is basically an octave switcher. And if it's like the BIA, it's definitely 2 octaves. We'll go through those real quick. And I used to think like when you just change your pitch or just use the pitch knob, but in my live performance recently I was actually just like noodling between these pitch modes, and actually really cool for doing some octave jumping. And they even give you CV control of that, so you can write bass lines in like a modular way by jumping through them. So don't listen to me, it's totally useful and cool. So we're going to go through these different modes that are similar to the BIA. So let's go through the 3 modes. There's skin, liquid, and metal. I wrote this down here, and it says skin is 6 oscillator additive. You're listening to skin right now. The liquid is 6 oscillator additive with pitch envelope. Now, because I'm not sending it triggers, nothing's going to change there, so maybe we'll just start with doing that. Take it out of oscillator mode, hit it. This is skin, so no pitch envelope. Just manually triggering it, not sending it any volt proctive or anything yet. But then if you switch over to liquid, if you wanted to get real percussive, yeah. and can get quite farty, if I could say. I usually stick to skin. I don't get into the liquid territory too much, at least when you're making baselines. This is kind of not where I'm aiming to be, but as always, it's fun to get through these things, scan through them over CV, because it might be fun to get one of those hits in like a percussive way. It's not quite to the level that BIA can just sound like entirely different per hit, but almost. And then there's metal, which they describe as 2 3-operator phase mod oscillators. And just to compare quickly, here's skin, here's metal, alto, here's metal in alto, skin in alto, skin in metal. Not hearing too much of a difference, but if we get into the saw mod territories, so saw mod in the manual, they talk about it being similar to PWM. Let's open this up into oscillator mode again. We get some chorusy wave animator, feedbacky stuff. I love that. But I think once we start doing some modulations like this, we're going to hear differences in the modes. So here's skin, liquid, not going to be any different because we're not triggering it. But if we go metal, there's definitely that PWM chorus going on. Skin, metal. Yeah. So again, not as completely different like the BIA is, but some stuff going on there. Take saw mod off and talk about the smash input, so we'll bring that up as well. And then smash is a wave folder. So it is kind of doing the same thing as saw mod in terms of like changing the wave shapes, but it does get kind of that higher upper harmonic territory that gets just like extra noisy. So if you want percussion, you want snares, man, this is like, if the BIA is perfect for kicks in the percussive territory, man, this is very noise for snares. Metal, smash, wood. Okay, back to our knit patch, and then there's the profundity. So profundity, I believe, is just like the BIA. As you turn it up, it adds detuned oscillators. So it kind of, again, all of these things sort of just add a chorusy effect, but like in different ways. So if we compare like our knit patch, profundity, smash, digital wave folders, especially the NE stuff, I really dig it, versus saw mod. Saw mod, nice. Yeah, those are kind of the core essentials of the Manis. There's this bash as well. So the bash will route the envelope to all the 3 parameters, and I thought this wouldn't do anything because we're in oscillator mode, but maybe it's just tracking the pitch. So not positive, but negative it will, which is really interesting. Yeah. And when you get in that low territory where you can just like, you have all this, I don't know, headroom isn't the word, but I'm going to use it anyway. When you have this headroom to like, you know, just make it so gnarly, right? There's all these upper harmonics that just like, that, yes. And we haven't even got into using the envelope yet, so maybe we'll do that now. So, I'm going to patch in a trigger. We're going to go 4 on the floor. And I love this. Bash up to noon. I want to show you the low pass filter though, which is one thing before we can kind of just get carried away with jamming it because I love the Manis so much. But the low pass filter, let's bring that in. And notice that the bash also affects the low pass filter, which I don't think no, it does. It does say. So you can use your trigger envelope to open up your filter. Everything on here, like, it makes modulation stupidly easy. This is kind of how I would be patching things for the most part. It's just sending envelopes or slow LFOs. It's great. It's great to have internal patching like that. But if you want to not do it to everything, we'll use bash to send negative modulation to everything, and then we can send positive modulation using the envelope out just to that filter. An interesting thing. and I believe it'll actually stack those modulations, so I can try and force like a low pass gate out of it by turning that all down. 2-pole digital non-resonant filter, works great. I have nothing, it's not remarkable, it's totally fine. It's a nice way to, like the DX7 didn't have a filter, I don't believe. When you're getting into FM synthesis, there's ways to sort of, get down to sinus territory without having to use filters, but it is really nice to use. It's just to say that I usually am well into the disgustingly noisy territory. Let's get into the liquid mode, because now I think you're going to really hear that pitch envelope now that we're sending an actual envelope. Take out this one just for simplicity. Take our bash back to noon. Smash that wave folder. Oh. Did I mention I love the Manis? Just... we haven't even sent pitches to it yet. We're just sending it C. Let's do. Yeah. And I just, again, I love that, just not quite completely percussive, but just like a little bit of melody to it. Oh. So smash coming down now, wave folders out. Oh, but I miss it so much already. Let's go into alto. Metal mode. So now that we're actually sending envelopes, you can hear metal. Skin. Just a little bit different, right? Treble mode. I'm not usually up that high because low end with that wave folder or the other modulations. Not that wave folding is a modulation, but when you do these things that just like add so much depth and add so much upper harmonics, you can just keep it in such a low territory. Let's tighten up our envelope a little bit. Profundity. And you get super saws in there somewhere, right? When you think super saws, you think almost like, I don't know, city pop, or at least I do. This is like dystopian city pop. I love my super saws. And then bash if you want to control all of these. But you got to kind of be careful because it gets real nasty. So let's go over to skin mode. And I love real nasty, but I kind of want to dial it in really gently. Because there's just a hairiness to that wave folder that I absolutely adore. Now, what I was saying earlier with, patch in some modulation here as well. Let's modulate the saw mod. Yeah. The thing, the macro being the pitch envelope is kind of funny because the bash is also sort of doing this too, right? So if you go into liquid macro with the bash all the way down, you're kind of doing the opposite things. But again, there's that super saw from hell, right? Let's modulate, I don't know, let's go through the octave modes, no, through the macro modes, through the selector. I'll go through the octave jumping. I like that. Just an interesting way to write bass lines, especially, although I'm going way beyond bass territory, but yeah. All right, let's do a longer sequence. Let's generate something. And it can be beautiful too, right? Just because I don't have self-control and we're into crazy noise territory, like still an FM synth, still can make those beautiful additive sounds, right? If you just bring like a hair of wave folding into, and lots of filter, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some noise creeping in. But if we, you dial it in real gently. Maybe not the pitch envelope, the metal. Ooh. It's a beautiful voice. If you bring the profundity to give it more of a chorus effect, take the smash down a little more. See if we can... Yeah, like there's beautiful sounds on board too, right? If we bring in some reverb. A little delay. But realistically, what I love about it so much is getting into nastier territory, so we'll go shorter. And maybe we'll slow this down a little bit so we can use longer envelopes. Ooh. Let's go a little bit less reverb so I can hear what's going on. Using that filter to try and tame this beast a little bit. More reverb, more delay. Yeah. Now with all that on the go, use some modulation. Made the mistake of mixing banana plugs in with my rack cables. Let's try bash. Yeah. Try another LFO for the modes. If you really want it to evolve. Slow it down even more so I can do longer envelopes. Yeah. When you hit the bass just right. Saw mod maybe not so much. Let's go saw mod down. Yeah. I like a generous helping of noise. Sorry if this is like too much. But the thing about the bash knob for me though is sometimes like this one, I don't love how profundity sounds in this patch. Kind of sounds like a weird dissonant thing, so using the bash here while it's going to bring in some of that profundity, I don't know. Open the filter up instead, modulate the smash input. So LFO's going in there. So this is kind of drifting through. Let's modulate the envelope too if you want different decays. Yeah, you probably don't want to use a triangle wave to slowly change something. You probably want to use random or something, but hey, we like to swap through. Mod coming in. Go into alto mode for the skin. You can get really metallic in all of the modes, eh? Yeah. All right, we love the Manis, and hopefully the Manis can love us back. All right, I'm Tafony. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that crap that YouTube's always on my case, but not promoting to you. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.